Greetings, Internet, and welcome to episode number 277 of the Comic Watchers Show. He's Chad, I'm Matt, and we're here to talk about comics with Mr. Artist, Mike Del Mundo this week. Thank you, Mike, for hanging out with us. It's quite an honor. You're a heck of an artist, my friend, a singular talent, if it were.
Well, thanks for the kind words, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's go back a little bit, because I know you've got a Kickstarter of your Marvel work that you're dying to talk about, and it's funding now.
Yep.
And but before we get into all that, can you tell us a little bit about what your background in comics is, and like when you first became a fan and a reader, and how you broke into the industry?
Background in comics. I first became a fan, man, when I was like 10, just like introduced into the 90s era of comics, just a bit before like the Image revolution. So yeah, I was introduced to all of those Image artists before they created Image. Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Will Portacio, Rob Liefeld, and Eric Larson. Those were the guys that I got into when they were at Marvel, doing Uncanny X-Men and X Factor and Amazing Spider-Man, all that stuff. So that's what got me into books, like that core line of legendary artists. And
are those the guys that made you decide that you wanted to be an artist?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was magnetic. It was a done deal. Especially after, learning that Todd McFarlane's a fellow Canadian, and Will Portacio is a fellow Filipino. So all those guys together, really inspired me to be like, hey, I could do this too.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you broke in.
Broke in end of 2009. Went into the Toronto Comic-Con Fan Expo. And long story short, I passed by I passed by a portfolio review, like a Marvel portfolio review. I don't know if they still do those reviews, but back then there was, every convention had, talent scouts looking for, just new blood. And that was a Friday night, and I passed by it, and I went back to my table and talked to my wife and was like, yeah, there's a portfolio review there, but I'll probably go check it out tomorrow. And I remember she was telling me, she's like, you got to go now. Like, you got to go and show your book and this and that. And I remember being like, well, I'm going to try. I'm going to see, because I think they probably handpick the artists that they're going to review.
Yeah.
So I stood in line, and by the time they got to the end of the line, like the editors and the talent manager at the time, CB Sobolski, they looked tired, man. They looked tired after looking through a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh shit. But I begged them. I'm like, yo, I just need 2 minutes of your time and I'm good. Just if I could show my book. And that's where I got my job. Like, I showed my book, and a lot of it was fan art for film, not a lot of comic stuff, more film fan art. And but they're impressed, and I was like, shit, it's a good thing I showed them on a Friday night just before Comic-Con started. And CB Sobolski, with like his true talent of like seeing the talent within these guys, because looking back at that book, I was like, I don't know, I was like, man, I didn't see the potential in me. And he saw something. So God bless CB Sobolski, man. Like, he changed my life that day, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, he was offering me like Wolverine right then and there. Like, they were excited. They were just like, yo, this is really good. He's like, do you like drawing Wolverine? I'm like, fuck, man. Like, in my head, I'm like, like, but it was really cool. It was a nice way to start the convention. And I was just like, after that, I was like, I didn't even care to go back to the convention. I was like, I'm good. That made my whole weekend. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, was there a specific comic book you remember picking up first of all, or the one that hooked?
Hello?
Was there a specific comic book that you remember reading being your first one, or the one that kind of made you want to pursue?
Oh man, like my first very, very first Marvel comic was Toxic Avenger #1 and #2. Yeah, that was like what brought me in. Like I went into the variety store, like my local Hasty Market, and going on the spindle rack, and just that's what the first thing I saw was Toxic Avenger #1 and 2. And from there, I moved to like Sleepwalker #4, I think. Those were like the pinnacle. Those were like the alpha of reading comic books.
Yeah.
But what really, really got me into that really got me super excited was obviously like the X titles. X Factor was the beginning of it all, like X Factor 67 all the way probably up like 10 more issues after that. So Will Spertassio's art really, really, got me in real good.
Yeah.
And then from Will Spertassio's art, from X Factor, then I was looking for the X-Men stuff, like Uncanny X-Men. And the first time I saw Jim Lee's art was Uncanny X-Men 275. And that's like my favorite book. You know what I mean? Like, even when I go back to this day, man, it still holds up. It's like the best art for me to look at. And 281, Will Spertassio as well. So those books are huge for me, for sure.
Now, did you want to become like a painter right off the bat, or did you want to become a penciler first? Or I mean, how did you evolve in your style?
Well, I mean, I was a designer in college, and well, I was taking graphic design in college, and that's when I met a group of guys that were doing comics, and they kind of put me back into that love of the comic world again. And I was like, you know what, I made the decision to like just pursue this thing. And at that time I was just learning the craft, so for sure, like pencils and erasers and inks, that was the beginning of learning this thing. Was just, I wasn't even thinking about painting at all. That was like later on, probably maybe just a year before I landed my job, was when I started learning how to paint. And a lot of it was digital paint, which helped a lot.
Sure.
So I was dabbling a lot with like Photoshop and how to like paint and how to like kind of like fake the whole traditional feel of it and textures and stuff like that. So, but yeah, in the beginning it was like the foundation of like pen, pencil, blue pencils, all that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Chad? Oh, we lost Chad. There he is.
Oh, there you go.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead with your. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh, no worries. No worries. So after you broke into Marvel, I mean, you stayed there for, I mean, at least a decade. And you had runs on kind of niche comics like Weird World, and then big books like Thor, and paintings, like you said, Wolverine and X-Men, and kind of got to live your dream there, man. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I took everything. Like when I first started at Marvel, I said it to myself. I was like, just super grateful to get to this point. Like I'm like, man, like if 12-year-old me saw where I was at this point, he'd be telling me to take every single job. So that's what I did. I like took every job, took every cover, and I just did the best I can. Like used like, my intent was to like create these conceptual ideas within these covers. And yeah, it's been amazing, because I've been able to do a lot of like the lesser known titles, but some of those are the most fun titles, because you could really open up and put your big ideas in there.
Yeah.
Like X-Men Legacy and like the story of Legion, David Haller and all that. That book was huge. But yeah, it's been amazing to be able to like experience like pretty much everything at Marvel. And I guess that's like to the testament of like being a cover artist, we're able to like kind of jump from one cover to the other and like draw all our favorite characters.
Well, and I mean they've got quite the toy box to play with. So I mean, so that gets us. I mean that more or less gets us to now, and you're on Kickstarter and you're funding an art book for your Marvel work. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a line of it's a 200 plus page. It's a 200 plus hardcover book, and it belongs in this line of books called the Marvel Art of. And I think Clover Press, who is publishing it, they've done about eight books at this point of these really nice, beautiful books, man. Like they put a lot of detail into these books. Like it's 200 plus pages. It's a hardcover. They even put all the nice fine details of like adding like a nice like a shine on like the pages, like just edging, like it's got this red shine edging. So the book looks like like a gem when you get it.
Yeah, I've seen the Russell Dowderman one. I mean, you're not exaggerating when you say they're nice books.
Yeah, they've really taken into account to make these things like prestigious books, like nice exclusive prestigious books. And you know, to end off, it even has like the bookmark string. I don't know what you call that thing, but they got that too. So but yeah, it belongs in a line of the book that I'm doing is in a line of like 8 other books that they've done that spotlight you know, some legendary artists, some artists that I've been inspired by, like you mentioned, Russell Dodderman, you know, and yeah, it's really nice to be part of that line of artists.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's a steamed company that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, what was it like when they? I assume they approached you about being part of the line. And obviously, you're a relatively young guy. I mean,
Oh, thanks. I'm in my 40s.
So are we.
Yeah.
aren't we all?
Young at heart. But yeah, no, it's a really cool story because Hank Canals, which heads Clover Press, is also helping us over at Three Worlds, Three Moons, the company I have with Jonathan Hickman, Mike Huddleston, and Nick Spencer. And so he's been helping huge over with us, and we've been seeing the Marvel Art of books like consistently, just seeing it through the net, and just like he's been showing it off too. And yeah, so it was just kind of like an organic thing that it's like, yo, he's been killing it for us over at Three Worlds. And I popped the question to see if, you know, he'd be even open to doing an art book. And I remember us just kind of like mentioning it as like hey, maybe you could do an art book for me kind of thing. And he was always like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So when we actually really put the question out there, they were in. So that's a blessing, man, because I've been trying to do some sort of artwork for years. It's just busyness and just the craziness of trying to make an art book makes it a bit difficult. So having the help of Clover Press is perfect.
Yeah. So aside from kind of the prestige of it, of having your name on this big art book, I mean, what is the allure for you artistically to have all of your stuff in one book together?
The allure? Oh man, I'm first off, I mean, I grew up with physical media, like, you know, comics. Everything's digital now. I grew up with physical media, man. So I'm a sucker for hardcovers. Like the smell of it, just the feel of it, like it just looks prestigious. Like any kind of hardcover I buy, whether it's a novel or a book, and I treat it very well. So it's more of like the idea of having my own, you know what I mean? For sure, like having to be able to have it all in one package. And you know, like working on, you know, Marvel covers and Marvel art for, you know, 15 plus years, everything's kind of scattered into like different books. So like I don't really get to kind of like put it all together and kind of just look back at like the work I've done. It's almost like a time capsule. And it's a good way to look at my work with like fresh eyes, because when you're working on these covers, um through deadlines and stuff, you're never like in the moment. You're more in the moment of just making sure you hit your deadlines.
Sure.
You're going through the grind, so we don't really actually enjoy what we're looking at the time. Because you're constantly looking at it, like your eyes are just bleeding to finish this work. So it's nice to look back at the old covers because you look at it with fresh eyes, almost in the perspective of the reader, the fan. So I'm looking forward to like having this, body of work and just flipping through it and enjoying it the way like a fan would enjoy it. Yeah.
When you were
Now, when
looking,
you're curating, uh, sorry, when you're curating this, do you have say I want this in, and they say think this should go, or how does that process kind of work?
Me and my good friend Jason Sorrenti, which actually handles all of my comic stuff. We've been going through it together. So Clover Press has given us the the duty of picking the art for the book. So we've just been going back and forth, and it's been fun. It's been challenging just because for me, I'm like, I wish I could put all my covers in there. I wish I could put
sure.
everything in that book. So we got a limited amount of pages, like 200 pages. So yeah, man, we've just been choosing it and figuring out what can work. And I guess the easiest way that we were going about it is kind of deducting the things that we don't want in there, or what I don't want in there for the most part. But it's been a challenge, but it's also been really fun, and for the most part really fun to like just look back, like I said, with
Yeah.
fresh eyes and just enjoying the adventure of doing that again.
Looking at some of that older stuff with fresh eyes, were you surprised by anything, or did you find you liked something that maybe you didn't feel as strongly about the first time?
Oh, for sure. It's like kind of like everything. Like there's things I saw that I was like, man, like how did I do that? How did I think of that? Then there's other covers that I'm just like, how the fuck did I do that? Like it's just like like I'm like I don't think I. It's weird because I'd look at a cover and just see all the detail and all just like the effort that I put into that, and I'm like, man, if I knew how long that thing would take, I probably wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? And that's just how work is. Like when we do these jobs, um, you don't really know what the end outcome is going to be like. So you just work away at it step by step, mini goals, this and that. But if I actually saw what this cover would be like in the end, sometimes I'd be like, man, I probably wouldn't have done these covers. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
just tough. But yeah, I look back at some covers where I'm like, damn, like I don't know what I was on. I don't know what kind of drugs I was on at that time, but salute to the old me kind of thing, right? I
Right.
um sometimes I look back and I'm like, I do the opposite where I'm like, I kind of cringe and I'm just like, I've gotten better as an artist. So but it's good. It's just a nice boatload of emotions. But for the most part, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah, for sure. With fresh eyes. And I critique sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, is there like a running commentary of yours or anything to go with each page of art, I should say, or is it just the art itself?
We wanted to like I wanted to make sure that it's mostly the art itself. Like
Okay.
I'm more when it comes to an art book, I like buying art books where it's just the art, and then if it has to be explained, I'd like it's more like seeing the process,
Mhm.
sketches and thumbnails. But I like seeing art if it is an art book. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking at that older stuff, do you see anything that maybe you maybe tried back then that didn't work out that you kind of think, oh, I could probably do that better now?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. A lot. Yeah, like my my sole goal in Marvel was to really get better at my craft, like the draftsmanship of all of it. So I have gotten better as with my draftsmanship, like anatomy, structure, all that stuff. I would hope I have. So looking back at a lot of my older work, I could say, shit, like that arm looks like crap, like that arm's too long, or those eyes aren't like symmetrical to each other. Constantly like looking at that when I'm looking at old stuff.
Hmm.
But uh it's cool because like in this day and age now, it's like we're just constantly trying to be perfect, especially with like AI. That's with all the AI stuff now, like it's extremely perfect. So I kind of almost look back at things and I'm like falling more in love with the old stuff where I wasn't that great at that thing we call, you know, uh draftsmanship, I guess.
Hmm.
But the energy was there, the love was there, the soul was there, all that stuff. So
Very important.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's always like a juggle of that, like looking back at things. I love it. Then I look back at it again. I'm like, well, I used to love it. Why do I hate it? And then I go back. So it's like my mood too. Um, but yeah, I do look back at a lot of things now, and I'm like, more like, oh, that's cool. Like the stuff that I was trying out was really cool because a lot of it was discovery. Especially when you're younger, uh, and you're new to this comic world. A lot of it is discovery and being excited over something you discovered. So during that time of starting at when I just first started at Marvel, um, I was just brand new. I was just trying stuff out. I didn't know what I was doing, but those were the cool things because every time I found some small little thing that got me excited, I applied that to the comics or like in the covers, and I just like went at it. So it's cool to like look back at things and
Yeah.
see what I was trying out at that time because I technically probably wouldn't be doing it now. Like a lot of times when you get better, you take less risks. So I'm trying to get back to like the younger me and trying to just be more free. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So, how did you develop your style? Because it's very unique. Like I know one of your art covers the second I see it,
Oh, thanks.
and yeah, absolutely. Like you got, I don't know, everything's got kind of a whitish hue to it as I kind of think of your signature move, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I just like, how did you go from oh my God, Will Spartasio to developing your own style?
Well, definitely those guys are still into like parts of all those dudes back then are still in my art. Whether it's the energy or the expressions I use, there's still something about it that's in there. It might not just be as apparent. Um, but there's just a boatload of like inspiration uh even after those guys because those were like my heroes when I was when I just got into comics.
Sure.
And then you just add on to that as you go and you learn the craft. There was a big gap of art during high school. I wasn't drawing during high school. I was dancing, I was b-boying.
Nice.
Took it back up when I was in college, and I decided to do comics again, and then I started really getting into it. And what first got me in, when I was exposed to it again, it would be like the Joe Mads, the Humberto Ramoses.
Hmm.
Um, uh, uh, I'm gonna miss a lot of the people here, but I'm gonna try my best to remember who inspired me. For sure, Adrian Alfona, Joshua Middleton, Chris Bachalo was huge. Jason Pearson, like all these guys were like quintessential in like, my journey of like learning. And parts of these guys are still in my art. Um I don't know if I answered the question. Is
No,
the
no, it's okay. We were just talking about how
uh,
you developed your own unique style and how singular your artwork is. So yeah, I mean, I think that gets us there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the development of like learning, and then style for me was just I don't worry about style. I don't worry about trying to create a style because that's something I did have a concern about when I was learning. I think that's just
Sure.
how all like new artists that are just learning this craft at the time, I think that's the main thing we worry about is like, well, when am I going to get my style? Like and then you're trying to create this style, but at the same time you're still emulating, you're still like learning off other artists, you're still learning off other art. So eventually once you get to a certain point, especially for me, I was just like, fuck it, like I don't even want to worry about a style. And I kind of treated the way I did art, especially when I started working at Marvel as an art director, and seeing what best works for that story, like works for that cover.
Yeah.
Story, like you read the storyline and you're just like, well, but like as an art director, how would you approach this? Like, would you take this into a graphic approach? Would you get more painterly, like Norman Rockwell or Leyendecker, or would you do it this way or another, right? So I always treated it that way, and I always did it that way because it was a lot more fun. I don't get bored, as much as Marvel allowed me to do it. So with Elektra, if you could see the Elektra book, you'd see like some covers that were very Saul Bass inspired, and then you had like kind of like more painted style with some of the covers. So I kind of went back and forth, and I think it worked cohesively anyways. But that's how I work. I don't worry about style. And like you said you noticed that that's a Mike Del Mundo piece. I can't tell if I have a style. I just do what I got to do. So I think, to answer your question in terms of style, I think if you don't worry about it, it's like anything. When you tell people just to be yourself, onto a group to talk or to, with anything, just in life, when you're just being yourself, it's the same thing as like doing art. You just got to be yourself, and style just comes out. Like it's just your personality, really.
Right on.
Yeah.
Chad?
So what is it about the Marvel universe and the characters that kind of draws you towards them?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what it is about Marvel, but it's just like I've been a Marvel kid since I was 10, 9, 10, 11. I think what drew me into those was the trading cards, actually, before comics. The Marvel series trading cards. That's what was like the bridge to getting me into be excited about comic books, was like these cards showing you what the comics were, like all those like the legendary books, like those key moments. And then I went to search for them at the local hasty market. And then after that, I was like, well, what else is there? There's not enough on a spindle rack. Then you discover these that you find out that there's these comic stores that actually holds like the grails, like the ones that you're looking for. So again, I don't think I answered the question. What's the question?
Just as long as you're talking and I'm not.
What was the question again?
What was it about the Marvel? What is it about the Marvel characters that kind of draws you to them?
I don't know. For me, the coolness factor is just they just looked cool. Like I think it's especially like what I really got into was like X-Men, and for me, like all like basically to me, X-Men is like sci-fi, and that was like huge for me, like Star Wars, and back then it was Star Wars and like just like retro sci-fi stuff, and I find X-Men to be that in comics, so I think that's what drew me in, was like just the idea of like these characters as more sci-fi versus superhero, and I don't know, man, just to be honest, like first thing that attracted me was Wolverine, like just the 3 claws, like the retractable claws. They were just fucking cool,
Most definitely, especially when you're that age, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's hard to top Wolverine or the X-Men.
Yeah, and I guess the lore of it all too, like
Sure.
the whole idea of the mutants, the mutant lore, and the fact that there was this school that was teaching them, so like it was kind of relatable to like my age at the time.
Yeah. I get that. Whereas also, when you're that age, like DC can kind of feel like your dad's comics sometimes. And that's nothing against DC, because I'm a dad and I love comics. So obviously they've done something right. But But yeah, I mean, Marvel just has that world outside your window thing going on, and
Yeah,
at,
and
at
I
the
like
core of it,
yeah, and
that's who they are.
I think also I just didn't have a choice because um every week, maybe every 2 weeks, we would beg our me and my brother would beg our dad to bring us to the comic shop, but we only had a choice to pick one comic out of that whole shelf. So it had to be that one.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a choice to even read any DC comics because we only had that one comic that we could choose.
Mm.
Things might have been different if it was like, yeah, go get a stack of books and stuff, right? But
Sure.
yeah, it was literally like that's why X-Men or like the X titles really mean a lot to me because that's really what I grew up with. That's all I really grew up with. Yeah.
Yep. You and me
So
both.
when so when you're like doing like the cover, do you have a certain philosophy or structure that you like to use, or uh, to convey whatever you want to convey?
Well, I'm an idea guy. Before comics, I was working in design, and it's all like ideas and you know, clever branding and stuff like that. So when I went into Marvel, that was my main intent was like let me see if I could like work what I was doing in design um into these comic books. And maybe that's a way to kind of stand out a bit. So I've always made it like my intention to like bring in ideas to each cover I do. And I've still been doing it, yeah.
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 Do you have a run or a particular cover that strikes you as like your favorite thing you've ever done, or are they all your babies?
There's like milestones for sure. Like X-Men Legacy was a huge thing because I think I just had so much fun working on those
Yeah.
covers. And um I wasn't even expecting to do that book because I was getting married at the time. And I remember my editor Daniel Ketchum was like, "No, you got to do this book." And I didn't really know much about what the book was involved, like what it was about. I just heard X-Men Legacy, and I was thinking, I don't know if this is the kind of book that I'm meant for. But when I did that first cover with Legion, um, kind of like collaged with like different eras of comics, and I
Mhm.
used like
I've got
parts,
that omnibus actually.
I used
That
parts of
cover on it.
Liefeld and Jim Lee, and it was kind of like this like homage to like the original creators of these books, and also like that homage creating like the face of Legion. And it was pretty crazy and out there, and they went for it, they loved it. And I'm like, well, if this is the first issue of the book and this is what you guys like, then I could do more of that. So like so then we just went off, like we even went crazier with each other cover that I did for X-Men Legacy. And then it blew up. Like I mean, I don't know how much it blew up outside into like to the fans and the readers, but in the Marvel offices it blew up. And like that got me a lot of work, and the trust in the editors to kind of just leave me alone and like come up with my ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge moment for me, and just it was just really fun. It was like super fun. I don't think I've had a lot of fun with other covers, but those books were kind of like you could do really whatever you wanted. Um, and then yeah, there's other milestones like Elektra was really fun. I think a lot of the things I remember the most are the big runs that I've done. So like Elektra, uh, X-Men Legacy, and then even like the hip hop covers was a huge big deal for me too. I did like
Yeah,
4 of those, and
definitely.
that was really fun. Those are like milestones for sure.
So what are you working on right now?
Right now I'm doing the DCKO. Like I'm doing a few covers for the DCKO event.
Okay. Working the other side of the street. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, that's been pretty fun. And I just finished me and Jonathan Hickman just finished our book over at Three Roads, Three Moons. So I hope it should be coming out soon, and I'm excited for everyone to see that. That was a really fun project, and I think that's like my favorite work to date. And what else? Just finished a one-shot issue with Alfredo 2. It's Alfredo 2 is a rap album with Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, and they do these really cool rollouts and themes, and they always do comic books that go along with it. And I did the first comic for the first Alfredo, so now this is part 2, and that just came out too. So I did that, and other things I really can't share, but they're coming along the line. Yeah,
Fair enough.
But yeah, this art book is taking up a lot of my time as well. So that's the big yeah.
How's it going on the funding side?
It's been great. Yeah, I'm blessed to say that it's definitely more than I expected, and I was a bit worried about it because this year just feels like there's a lot of just the climate of everything.
Yeah,
and people talking about like people are saving more and this and that, and so a little worried about it, but yeah, it's doing really well, and I'm super grateful.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Now, how many more weeks do folks have to contribute to this campaign?
There's about 15 days, I believe. So I think it finishes on September the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming up quick. So there's still time to contribute and get your paws on it.
Yeah, there's still some time. There's about a few, at least like 15, 14 days. Yeah. Go get my art book.
Say that again.
Go get my art book.
Yes, do it. Absolutely. Support the art, man. So you mentioned you're doing some art for DCKO, and forgive my ignorance, but is that your first DC work?
My first DC work was The Flash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did 5 or 6 covers for The Flash. Yeah. Well, I might be wrong about that. I think The Flash was the first one.
Okay.
And I did like a Wonder Woman and recently a Green Lantern, like an absolute Green Lantern. And New Gods. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm still brand new with DC, man. But
yeah, I was gonna say, does working at DC bring a different set of sensibilities with it?
Feels the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They want you to do you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the difference is like I came into DC as an established artist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started at Marvel, I was a rookie, like I was a newbie. So I kind of had to work my way up. So that's the difference, is just a bit more experience,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. So who are some other DC characters that you haven't worked on yet that you're kind of itching to get your hands on?
Batman.
Batman. Everyone says Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Batman. I mean, it's crazy because was it I think it was the first Flash cover I did. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman were in that cover. But they're in like a tiny part of it. It was like a pinball machine that I had the Flash running around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just part of the pinball machine, just like an image of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And it's tiny, but I remember I spent a lot of detail on that just because I'm like, fuck, I've never drawn Batman, and he's so fun to draw. So, yeah.
Right on. So, looking ahead, like, what are there any other publishers out there? I mean, I don't know, Boom, Image, whomever that you might be open to working with, or have some stuff on the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you can't talk about it.
I've been blessed to work with all those guys like Boom, Dark Horse, IDW, Skybound, Image Comics. It's been a blessing to be able to work with everybody. I can't talk like I have a few covers that's coming out on Distillery, or a cover that's coming on Distillery, but I don't know if I can even say anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I gotta tell you what, man, Distillery's has come in hot.
Yeah. The one that I was working on was super fun and different, and yeah, I went in on it because I love the creative team that was part of, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's just the cover, no interiors.
No, no interiors yet, but they were. There was a mention of doing some interiors.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of my time has been put into Three Worlds, Three Moons, because that's like our company, and the world that we're building. So most of my time has been spent just trying to build that world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said that's you, Jonathan Hickman, and somebody else?
Me, Jonathan Hickman, Mike Huddleston, and
Oh,
Nick Spencer. Yeah. We
Nick
started it
Spencer.
like
How are those guys to work with?
sorry?
How are those guys to work with?
Amazing. Yeah. No complaints. It's just we're all just very creative individuals, and
Right.
yeah, man, like there has been no complaints. We just let each other kind of just go nuts. And it's just more of a vibe. We're just going idea after idea, and it's been working out, man. It's a nice big world that we've been creating, and we've been doing it for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this year we're just about to finish our trilogy of these massive books that we've been doing. We've been doing these like 200 plus page hardcovers that focus on our world, and it's almost like an encyclopedia of this world before we start telling the stories.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun because we've just been building.
So, do you think you might ever want to write your own comics at some point? Now that you've kind of got your toe in the world of world building.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I think building this world on Three Worlds, Three Moons has really got my feet wet with like practicing how to write. Or not
Mm-hmm.
even just practicing, but like when we're creating and designing characters or designing parts of these worlds, we're already writing. Like even me and Mike Middleston, when we're drawing these worlds up, we're already constantly writing about these worlds and getting ideas right there. And like right now, usually like we'll just get kind of like just an overview of like what these characters look like or what the world is. And then when we start drawing about it, we want to tell that story. So we're constantly, it's just kind of like a natural thing when we start drawing, just like the stories just start coming through when we're
Yeah.
creating characters. So yeah, it's like a nice practice um into that whole writing thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific stories for like a Marvel or a DC character in mind that you'd like to get to someday, or like a crack at?
I have a lot of stories in my head, not necessarily like superhero stories or like Marvel DC stories, but I have a ton of stuff in my head that like I want to do. And sometimes I'm thinking like maybe I could take the stories that I have in my head and somehow put them into Marvel and DC
Mm-hmm.
and see if that works. So, but a lot of the stories I have is more of my own characters and ideas. Yeah.
Right on. I mean, that's the way to go. Like, I can definitely see you breaking out at like Image or Distillery or Boom or one of those with a creator-owned book at some point.
Yeah, that's the next step. That's definitely the next step. I've kind of done it all. Like with this book, I'm like it's kind of like my big omnibus of work that I've done, and it's like
It's
after
a
this,
milestone in and of itself. I mean, look at how far you've come in book form.
yes, yeah. It's like a big milestone. So what's next? It's like the next step is to really move towards doing creator stuff, like my own stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Who are some writers out there? I mean, if you were to partner with somebody that you wouldn't mind working with.
Man, I think I've just been spoiled at this point. I've been spoiled to be able to work on my
I
life.
gotta say, you've been on some pretty cool books so far.
Yeah, I've been spoiled to just been work on my favorite characters. The characters I grew up with. I've met all of my favorite legendary artists. And I've worked with my favorite writers, man. So at this point it's like it's hard to say who I've been worked with because I've worked with Jonathan, and Jonathan Hickman is like one of my favorite writers. Jason Aaron, you know. So it's a nice line of people. And nice line of writers that I've worked with.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, credit where credit's due. You've been under some really good, some strong editors too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, but so looking at your DC work and your image work, or excuse me, not your image work, your Marvel work, and just being able to kind of put it all in this book together. Like, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self just starting out, having just handed that portfolio to CB Cebulski?
Oh man, what kind of advice would I give to my younger self if I was just to? Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, sorry, I got kind of tongue-tied there. But what kind of advice would you, looking back, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, okay. I would say continue doing what I was going to do anyways, but I would say the main thing is to make sure that you kind of enjoy the moment, you know, try your best to enjoy the moment and the journey of it all, because I found myself constantly just working on covers and being in the basement for the most part alone, just me and, my Cintiq and my sketch pad. So I would tell them just to enjoy the journey and, take the opportunity to travel and meet, like, it's a way to meet like other artists and friends and the community, and like kind of take part in that community. And just enjoy the journey and don't worry too much about the process of it all, of like trying to get better and wanting to get there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Take it easy on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. As you're going, just enjoy the fun times, enjoy like all the hardships and everything. Cause when it's something to look back on, it's the experiences that really count. And for me, I did that, but I also wish I I really took more time into like enjoying where I was, whether I was at a convention or if I was at a Marvel party or just being in a studio with a couple guys drawing and stuff. Like, take that in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I appreciate you taking time to chat with us tonight. I guess we've lost Chad for good this time.
Oh, shoot, I didn't even know Chad took off, man.
Yeah, he's I think having some connection issues tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
It happens in upstate New York, but so yeah, thank you, and thank you for taking time to reschedule with us. I know you had a last minute ordeal last week, and we had to
sorry about that.
on an oddball night. It happens. The worst thing that can happen is somebody ghosts us, and I'm proud to say that 277 episodes in, that's only happened one time.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm glad that wasn't me.
Right, it wasn't you.
I can tend to be like, oh shit, I got an interview, man.
Right. No, I get it. So, let's see. Oh, hold on. We got something in the private chat. All right. Oh, okay. Chad confirmed for us he did have to go. Okay. But
well, thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chadley, for setting this up. And Mike, thank you for everything that you bring to the table artistically and just as a human being, because it's been a good chat.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
Yeah, most definitely. For sure. So the book is The Marvel Art of Mike Del Mundo from Clover Press.
Yep.
Funding on Kickstarter now. You should absolutely back it and get out there and pick up some comics with some of Mike's art, because he's one of the most unique talents out there that we have. And we should always be supporting people that have a singular vision in their art. So, Mike Del Mundo, thank you very much. Chad and I will be back tomorrow on our regular night with Dirk Manning, and we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff there as well. So, Mike Del Mundo, thank you. Have a great evening, and we will catch you another time, I'm sure.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, my brother. Have a good evening. And as for all of you, get out there, support your local comic book store, support local art, support local music. Just get out there, put some good in the world, because God knows we need it right now. Just don't be a dick. Thank you and good night.